Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Sarah Fenske. The Hill might be every county resident's favorite St. Louis city neighborhood. It's the favorite neighborhood of many city dwellers as well, whether or not they live there. The Italian district raised Yogi Berra and Joe Garagiola, and it launched dozens of family-owned eateries that are still going strong in the hands of children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren. But the coronavirus has changed many things in the U.S., and the Hill is not immune to that. Joining us today to discuss how this dining destination is doing at a time when no one's allowed to dine out are two local business owners. My first guest is Chris Saracino. He's the president of Hill 2000. That's the Neighborhood and Business Association. And he's also an owner of 4 St. Louis area restaurants, including 2 under the Bartolino's name and 2 that go by Chris's, including Chris's Pancake and Dining. So Chris Saracino, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we're also joined today by Larry Fuse. He opened Lorenzo's Trattoria 21 years ago, and he is still the owner of it. He's also the owner of Gelato di Riso, which has 2 locations. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, Larry, I understand that all 3 of your businesses are still open for carryout. The dining rooms are closed, but you're still providing food for people. Was that a hard decision to decide to go that route?
It was very hard, but we had no choice. It was either that or completely shut down. So we got to do what we can do just to stay open and keep people working and keep everybody happy. So
with 3 eateries, that's got to be a number of employees. How many did you have to lay off when you made the choice to try to stay open just for carryout?
I would say between all 3, it was around 30, most of them being at Lorenzo's. There was a handful of each at the Gelato stores, probably about 5 or 6 at each store, but a very large amount, probably 20 to 25 from Lorenzo's.
Okay, and that had to have been so hard, just difficult to have those conversations.
Oh, it was terrible. You know, luckily we've had a great crew that's been with us for lots of years, and we've been very lucky with that. And so, they become part of your family. Mm-hmm. And then when something like this happens, it's just, we have no choice, but we are trying to bring everybody in as little as we can just to give them a little bit of hours and make some money. But it's just, it's not easy.
Chris, how about you with these 4 restaurants? Are they still all open for carryout?
Everyone, our locations are all open for carryout. The Docket, I'm sorry, did close last Thursday.
That's Chris's at the Docket downtown.
The Docket location downtown, correct, did close last Thursday. It was a tough decision based upon the courts and the city hall and things going on in and around where we draw a lot of our clientele for breakfast and lunch, which they're down to very minimum people in their building. So we thought it would be best to kind of shut down at that location altogether. Not even doing curbside. Now the Watson location, we're still running curbside, and both our Bartolino locations are running curbside.
And have you been able to get enough business from the curbside to sustain having a skeleton crew still on staff?
I'm sure Larry feels the same way. I think we need to remain relevant, and I also think we need to remain a part of the food chain that can't always be supported by all the grocery stores. You just hear and see all these different stories regarding how much the grocery stores, there's so much pressure on them to get their stores shelves stocked, and I think we're trying to be another outlet for folks to be a part of, not just that they pick up their favorite foods and in their different locations, but it's also a necessity, I think, to be able to help out. I think that people get tired of being able to have to worry about what's for dinner or doing things. Schooling's changed. Parents are probably helping their kids with school all day, and then they got to stop and think, oh my gosh, what are we going to make? So hopefully we can be a help and a support to the many families that need it, throughout our area.
So it sounds like you see this as less of a simple sort of mathematic calculation on whether you can still make money and more that you're seeing this as a service by keeping your doors so partially open.
Yeah, and I think, that's how, my family, my brothers and I kind of discussed it as being a service. Now you have to be responsible to an extent, but also as a service and a good outlet. Today we were able to deliver box lunches to go out to an office that is, there's 30 different people in 30 different offices that, so each person got a box lunch from us. So that type of support. Otherwise, I don't know, I'm sure, I don't know what other options. I'm sure there's other options out there, but I think that, again, they called us. They needed some help with sandwiches, and we were able to provide that. So it was good. It hopefully helps them and helps us.
Larry, what are you hearing from customers, either when you run into them or when they come to pick up their curbside? Is this kind of one of those small treasures or pleasures in the time of just having so few left to us?
Just like Chris was saying, I think it kind of keeps some type of normality to people where they can still feel like they're getting out and they're going out instead of constantly having to try to cook at home or, like Chris said, dealing with the kids and what's going on in the house. It just kind of gets it feels normal to somebody to go out, pick up dinner, and feel like they're going out on a date.
Do you feel like most of your customers are coming from the neighborhood, or are people driving a more significant way to get to this food?
I say it's about 50-50. We're getting a lot from the neighborhood, which is great. We have a great neighborhood that supports each other constantly. But then we are getting a lot of our regulars that could live, 10, 15 miles away, 20 miles away, that are still coming in and wanting to support us. They've been coming for years, and they just want to support our family.
That's got to be great to see that people are going to that trouble. They're obviously not getting a nice night out of it. They're getting a ride in the car and some food then to take back home, but they're willing to do it.
Oh, it's a great feeling. It's great to see people that you normally see on a weekly or biweekly basis, and they're still coming by just to say hello and making sure we're okay.
Now, Chris, you and I talked last week, and you told me at that point that most restaurants in the neighborhood you thought were trying to give the curbside thing a go. Is that still the case as we come through this weekend and head into this, I guess, third week of everything being closed?
Yes, the restaurants, and actually, I was out for a walk, and checking on everybody, and they still. Everybody, it's amazing at the business owners' attitudes. Everybody's looked at it. Larry said it earlier. The restaurant, and most of these restaurant people have been, their first, second, third generation owners, and their employees are family. And the people that come to their places and establishments on a regular basis become a family, and you develop relationships with them. And so everybody has really, the support you're seeing from the outside community, whether it's actually our Hill residents or those that will drive in for 20, 30 minutes to come and get food. But it's not just food for them, it's nourishment it's part of, as Larry says, part of their regular routines that it makes them feel good. And I think that is, and again, this isn't the perfect sustainable business practice, but again, I think it keeps us all going. It keeps a purpose for all of us, as the restaurants, as the business owners, as the residents, that we all are looking out for each other, and we're all going to come through, stronger. And that's what when I talk to my fellow business owners around the neighborhood and just residents, and everybody is saying, hang in there. We're thinking of you. We're praying for you. We're hoping the best. Let's get through all this together. When you hear that on a regular basis, it touches your heart. It's so special, and I think it's what makes our community, not just the Hill and but our St. Louis City and our region. When our leaders, when the county executive, St. Louis City mayor, and the governor and all that had to make these tough decisions, and probably in the best interest of all of us, as much as we might not like it, it probably at the end of the day is in the best interest of all of us and the healthcare professionals, to do this. It was a hard decision, but it's made our community, and I'm sure a lot of communities around the country like ours, to realize and to really respect and appreciate these life pleasures that we do have. And I think once we get back to roaring again, I think we'll be a better community and a better region altogether.
You'd mentioned that many of these restaurateurs are second generation, third generation. And thinking of that, I imagine these aren't maybe the most high-tech kitchens. You're not doing one of these fancy, point of sale things necessarily the way like a brand new restaurant where, the person has read all the books on how to do it is doing it. Are there some real challenges in trying to change to this curbside model and deal with calls coming in as opposed to waiters taking orders?
Well, it's been for us, with over the weekend, our business spiked a bit, and we've implemented the online ordering system, and our online system kind of got backlogged so much, and we couldn't even get enough people to get them rung into because, and not that it was a consistent, steady flow for many hours, but when it was ironically, it seemed like when people were wanting to order was kind of within the same 10 to 15 minute time span, and so that's a new challenge for us, and because we're trying to pick up this new model, and so we're working off a tablet, trying to transfer it to our actually order so it goes to the kitchen so they know what to make, and it kind of got a little hectic, but we worked through it, but sometimes you can teach an old dog a new trick, and so it's a fun learning time for all of us.
Have people been understanding of that kind of, just the difficulty of getting your head around these new ordering systems? People
have been great. I mean, the people who we bring out the food to, they've been very generous. They've been very thankful. They've been very patient. It is truly really a great on mankind. It's and human kindness. It's been great. Because I'm not going to lie. I mean, sometimes when things are when things were normal and you'd get people we would get worked up on some of the slightest things and you would wonder, is that really what's important? And through these times, people have been awesome, completely awesome. And I get that talking to Larry, talking to fellow restaurateurs. Everybody has said the same thing. They've really appreciated the people's patience as we've all kind of learned to transition our business to a different practice. So I've been very grateful for the support.
I also find myself wondering about this curbside model. In so many neighborhoods, of course, that means drive up. But there in the Hill where everything is so close together, do you see people like walking up for their curbside pickup?
Larry, you could talk about that.
Well, we were in the beginning. People were coming in and kind of picking it up, but we've shut our doors where no one's allowed in the building, unfortunately, just because we're trying to keep as much contamination down.
People wanted to come in and order right there in the lobby.
They wanted to come in. Yeah, they wanted to come in and hang out like the old days, and it was getting a little crazy.
I'm glad you put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, so now everything is delivered to your car outside at the curb. You pull up, you call the restaurant, tell us you're here, and we run it out to you.
If somebody showed up on a bicycle, would that still work, or?
Oh, absolutely. Here on the Hill, we have a ton of golf carts, so we do a lot of golf cart deliveries.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't have to be a vehicle. It's not like a drive-through where they're enforcing that car thing, but you're keeping everybody out of your lobby.
Right. We're just trying to keep as much contact down as possible. But yes, you can pull up anything you want, and we're going to deliver it to you.
So bigger picture, I feel like the Hill is just one of these neighborhoods that everybody loves. We are all rooting for you guys. Why do you think, maybe Chris, this is a good question for you as the president of the Business Association, why do so many people feel like the Hill is their neighborhood, even if they haven't lived there for decades?
Well, you know what, the Hill, being a part of the resident association, the Hill 2000, and the Business Association for many, many years. The community, we've always come together as a community. We've always come together in different events. We always, the model has been the church, the residents and the businesses, and not just in that order. Sometimes the church and the residents are supporting the businesses, and sometimes it's the business and the church supporting the residents. And it just, as you turn the triangle, somebody's at the top and there's two supporting at the bottom, and it's been continuously that way. And the people that come to our neighborhood and want that nostalgia, and the many families who have kept the tradition and the heritage of our Italian ancestors alive throughout this time and leading up to now, has always, and the people that pick up those pieces and carry it forward, it's just a wonderful process. And the people I think people, when they come to our neighborhood, they embrace it. We have a wine walk every year that the businesses participate in. People pay a ticket to go around to the different neighborhood businesses and take samples of wine and just samples of food. And it's become one of the most popular events going. And throughout and people, we created that originally because I wanted people to come to our neighborhood, and I said, people drive in, they go to Lorenzo's, they park their car, they enjoy the setting for a minute, they go in the restaurant, they enjoy a delicious dinner, they have a great time, they leave, they go back out, they go into Shaw, go to Kings Highway, go to 44 or 40, and away they go. Here, when we do like this wine walk, it engages people into our neighborhood for 3 or 4 hours, and they really get the flavor of being able to walk to neighborhood places, passing houses that people have, that keep up their tradition. This morning I was out with my puppy and walking and just seeing, I passed by every business and the pristine and how clean they keep everything, and they the same with the residents and what they're always trying to do, fixing up their properties and stuff. I think people enjoy that. I think it kind of goes back in time where people appreciate it, and so I think that's what brings the nostalgia to our neighborhood, and I think that's what brings some people's excitement and enjoyment from.
Larry, do you think this will lead to any permanent changes for the neighborhood?
It's hard to say. Yeah, it might. With this thing, see how long it lasts, and I think it's going to bring everybody a little closer. I mean, we're already a really tight neighborhood. We all know each other, we help each other, but I think it might bring people a little tighter and a little closer. Yeah.
Well, I hope you're right about that. That certainly would be the one good outcome that could come out of this tough time we're living in. Larry Fuse, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And Larry is the owner of Lorenzo's Trattoria and Gelato di Riso. And we were also joined today by Chris Saracino. He's the president of Hill 2000, the owner of Chris's Pancake and 3 other restaurants, which is Chris's at the Docket, Bartolino's Osteria, and Bartolino's South. So, Chris, thank you for joining us as well.
Well, thank you for having us, and thank you for the opportunity today, because it's really good to have the opportunity to kind of spread not just our news about the Hill neighborhood and talking about our restaurants and all the restaurants in our Hill neighborhood as far as supporting those as well, but just as a St. Louis community in the St. Louis region, we all got to continue to be strong, fight through this together, and be a better community and a better region from it. And so thank you for the opportunity to be with you on the show today, Larry. Good to be with you. And
you too, buddy.
Let's all take care of each other.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that's a great thought for us to end on. So let us all go out and do that and take care of each other. So thanks, guys.
All right,
thank you.
Bye.
This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.